My brother Tim, 24, and I, 32, have been trying to go to film school. In July, I got a flag on my credit report when someone tried to co-sign my name on a private student loan. I found out my brother somehow got the information from my mom, thinking I wouldn't notice. Tim is on the spectrum. He doesn't have great judgment, but my wife was angry because we're living with my in-laws on the other side of the country, saving up for a home once and if the interest rates drop. I've kept my credit flawless. So I did what you should do and reported it for fraud. I tell my mom and she doesn't say much. It slowly came out that my brother couldn't get a loan, and he found some paperwork about my parents that had my social security number on it lying around. He couldn't get the loan without a cosigner and put me down. It takes months for this to come off, so my wife and in-laws pressured me to file charges against Tim. I told my mom what Tim did was wrong and illegal. My mom started crying and handed the phone to Tim, and I explained to him what he had done and that he needed a lawyer. Again, Tim's autistic and starts panicking about what'll happen to him after the headache of his actions and everything going on. I said, "Guess you go to jail." Since then, Tim went into a bad state, and his meltdown caused him to be on psychiatric hold. He's in bad shape, and my family blames me because he keeps saying, "I'm going to jail." I don't know if he would for what he did, but because of what I told him, he's regressed badly. He's been in panic for weeks, and it's not getting any better. My parents did get him a lawyer to try to calm him down, but he's back in the hospital again for another stay. Am I the idiot for telling my brother, "I guess you're going to jail"? Edit. My mom always covers for him, saying he's autistic. He knows right from wrong, because he always acted like this when he got caught doing something terrible. Not the idiot. Identity theft and fraud are serious crimes. But dude, I'm afraid it's not just your brother that needs a lawyer. If your mom aided and abetted your brother to commit identity theft and fraud because they intended to hide this from you, she's in big trouble too. Yeah, the mother knew, and the parents informed OP that the brother couldn't get the loan, and the brother happened to find the papers. Rather than telling the brother not to use his information to apply for the loan, she kept quiet and allowed it to happen until she was confronted. OP, your mom has coddled him and trained him to think that because he's autistic, he can do whatever he wants and just blame it on that. Good on you for not continuing in her footsteps. Your brother needs consequences and therapy. Your mom should also do individual therapy to learn and no longer enable the behaviors. That's what I was thinking. If he's able to go to college, he knows right from wrong. Also, mom is definitely involved. How would the perpetrator know the social security number was on the parent's will or where to find it? Did he first ask her to co-sign? Then she said no, and then he just happened to find some paperwork at your mom's with your social security number? How exactly did he find that info? If they did help him commit fraud, his guilt, aka knowing that this is wrong, needs to be weighed against the parent saying, "Meh, it's okay. He won't know or mind." Agree. Sounds like they both, brother and mom, thought, "We'll get the cosign loan, and since we'll pay it off, OP will never have to know a thing." Whoops. OP, you did what you had to do to clean up your credit history. Your brother isn't going to jail, but he has a ton of serious legal trouble, thanks to your parents. It was harsh of you to mention jail. It was understandably harsh, but you're in no way responsible for his overreaction to that possibility. I'm male 44, have a daughter named Jamie, teen, with my ex-wife Miranda, 43. Miranda and I have been divorced for the past 6 years, and she's had primary custody since then. Still, I have generous visitation rights and custody on weekends and 1 week a month, so I get Jamie about 40% of the time. Jamie and I, despite the divorce, have a great relationship, but things haven't been as easy for the last few months after my girlfriend, Brooke, 36, moved in with me. Brooke and Jamie don't always get along, which I expected, but because Brooke doesn't try to overstep her bounds, I didn't pay it much mind until the last few weeks when Jamie began to go out of her way to disrespect Brooke. Last weekend, I came home from a meeting to see Jamie and Brooke arguing. Apparently, Brooke asked Jamie to do the dishes, And Jamie responded with something along the lines of, "You're not my mom. I don't have to listen to you," which sparked an argument. After Brooke left to run an errand, I asked what was going on before Jamie gave me her version, saying that Brooke overstepped her bounds. I countered that while I agreed with her, she was still a family member, and then told Jamie that while she's under my roof, she'll be expected to treat Brooke with respect. Jamie was moody for the rest of the weekend, which I understand. However, I don't think I'm asking for anything unfair here. You are the idiot. Firstly, if your child isn't getting along with your SO, you better pay it mind. That's your kid who spends 40% of her time in that house. Brooke isn't a member of the family. That's something that comes with years of bonds. A girlfriend isn't the same, especially if she just moved in. Technically, Jamie isn't wrong. Brooke isn't a mother and shouldn't be acting as such. If Brooke wants Jamie to do the dishes and Jamie says no, that's an issue Brooke needs to take to you as the father to handle. How is asking someone to do the dishes overstepping boundaries? She's a teenager, and dishes won't kill her. Jamie's staying there regularly and should help with the dishes. I thought it was normal to be asked to help out, and it was only dishes. It wasn't like the girlfriend tried to impose anything on Jamie. Jamie's just being a typical teenager, and you've asked her to be more respectful. Sounds about right. Agree. OP's not the idiot. Jamie doesn't have to be BFF with Brooke, but she needs to treat her civilly. If Brooke asks her to do a reasonable chore, such as washing the dishes, Jamie should do so without the "you're not my mom and I don't have to listen to you." If she has an issue with it, she can state the issue, and then you can resolve it if necessary. Is your ex remarried or seeing someone? Would she allow Jamie to treat and speak to them disrespectfully? Come on, people. We've all been teenagers. She lives with her dad and his girlfriend for almost half her time. She should contribute to housework. The girlfriend asked Jamie to do the dishes. Her answer was disrespectful and uncalled for. She's just testing her boundaries. I'm glad you, OP, had your girlfriend's back. I, 32 female, have been dating a widower with a daughter, Nara, tween female, for a year. We've moved to a new city because of my boyfriend's job promotion. I freelance, and we're in the middle of settling down. Nara and I get along very well. Nara plays tennis. Since the move, she's been on the school team and competed a bit. Her teammates' parents often organize some kind of get-together, and her father and I tried our best to have her attend most of them. I would say Nara got along with all of her teammates, and I thought the parents were friendly. Last week, the team's captain's parents hosted a potluck dinner. Nara and I brought over some brownies. There really was a lot of all kinds of food. The team's captain's father did most of the greeting, telling us that his wife was preparing something special for us all. Once everyone was at the party, the wife came out of the kitchen with a special dish, a recipe from a specific country. Now, Nara looks white, but her late mother came from that very country. The wife host began to serve everyone and share her recipe and ingredients and how it wasn't that difficult to make once you substitute the local ingredients. Feel free to ask her for tips. At this point, Nara spoke up, saying that the authentic recipes included such and such, and how their particular scent and taste added to the whole experience of eating this dish. She said if so many substitutes were used, they might as well call the dish a different name. The wife host looked a little unsettled and told Nara that she and her husband traveled a lot in their youth, and she had the dish many times and knew what it was supposed to taste like, and the substituted ingredients worked just fine. Nara then said her mom was from the dish's country of origin, and she understood that some ingredients were hard to come by, but substituting so much turned the dish into something else altogether. During all of this, I mostly kept silent. Nara wasn't being rude, just matter of fact, and as this was a matter of her heritage, I thought she could speak up. The host's wife spluttered a bit before saying everyone should just go ahead and enjoy her dish, no matter the name. Everyone tried, though nobody asked for seconds. I thought it was a little bland, and there were a lot of leftovers. Nara's team captain later called her, thanking her for putting her annoying stepmom in her place. When my boyfriend returned from his business trip and learned of this, he thought I should have reprimanded Nara for being rude to the host. He also talked with Nara, and she seemed to be sulking a bit, though she wasn't grounded or anything. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Nara was extremely rude. This woman opened her home and spent time and money preparing this meal. Nara trashed it before she ate it. Maybe you and Nara don't realize this, but there are different ways to prepare a cultural dish. Not everyone in a particular culture prepares their food the same way. Maybe the dish tastes similar to the way it was prepared when the hostess ate it during her travels. Your stepdaughter needs to learn graciousness and respect. This is spot on. If I pulled something like this when I was her age, my mom would make me write an apology letter to the mom. Then she would volunteer for our family to host the next team get-together and make me do all of the cooking by myself, so I would learn to have respect for people who invite me into their homes and prepare a meal for me. The team captain's also an ungrateful brat. If her stepmom is so annoying, then she can handle the hosting duties for these gatherings herself. I agreed that Nara was rude and even the idiot, but not that it's OP's job to control her behavior as a step-parent of a tween. To be precise, OP's still Nara's dad's girlfriend. They've only been together for a year. We don't know how long ago the kid was introduced to OP, nor how long ago the kid's bio mom died. It's entirely likely that the kid does not see OP as a parent, and therefore doesn't handle any parent jobs like discipline. Not the idiot, OP. What the heck were you supposed to do about it? My boyfriend, 30, and I, 28 female, have been dating for 4 years and have lived together for 18 months. Our lease is up at the end of this month, and we were hoping to have purchased a home by now, but that didn't happen. So we decided to just renew our lease and keep the house hunt going. I've also had a very stressful year career-wise, so this fall, a few friends and I booked a girls' trip to Mexico for a yoga/wellness retreat. We're leaving next Thursday, and we're all really looking forward to it. The week before Thanksgiving, my boyfriend's dad unexpectedly passed away. My boyfriend immediately flew out to be with his mom and siblings. He stayed there for Thanksgiving instead of coming home, which I understand entirely. Due to the holiday and scheduling conflicts with other relatives, the funeral wasn't scheduled until the Friday after I left for my trip. When he told me the date of the funeral, I reminded him that I would be gone. He asked if there was any way I could reschedule the trip or get a refund, and I told him I'd look into it. However, the trip was booked with a group rate and was 100% non-refundable, and none of my friends wanted to go through the hassle of rescheduling, which sucks, but I get it. I saved a lot of money to take this trip and needed the escape, and if I cancel, I won't get the money back at all. I explained all of this to my boyfriend, and he asked me what I would do. I apologized and told him that I thought I was going to go on the trip because I didn't want that money to go away for nothing. All this was over the phone because he was still with his family, and he told me he would want to talk more when he returned home. When he came home, we talked more about it, and I apologized many times when explaining why I was still going on the trip. He seemed to understand and told me it was fine, but when I asked him when he would sign the papers to renew our lease, because I want that done before I leave, he said he's not doing that anymore. He said that he came back to figure some things out at work, and then he's flying back for the funeral, and he'll be staying with his mom while they figure some things out. I asked him why he hadn't talked to me about this first, and he said that he was talking to me about it right now. He said his mom needs help, so he'll stay with her. I asked him what I was supposed to do about a place to live, and he told me to figure it out with my friends on our vacation. I told him that he was putting me in a bad situation and that he seemed fine with me going on the trip and missing the funeral. He said he wasn't going to beg me to cancel my trip and that I made that decision alone, so he's making this decision for himself. I told him he was being an idiot and should have talked to me about this first. He said I'm the one who's prioritizing drinking on a beach over being at his dad's funeral. So if anyone's an idiot here, it's me. Oof, you are the idiot. Your boyfriend's going through what could possibly be one of the hardest times of his life. The unexpected death of a parent is horrifying and a devastating shock. He's grieving. You're his partner, and he needs you right now. And instead, you're taking a vacation. Trips can happen at any time. This is a once-in-a-lifetime tragedy. If you love him, you'll be there for him. Oh, darling, you made your bed when you prioritized your vacation over your boyfriend. You shouldn't be surprised that he's prioritizing himself and his family over your housing concerns. This wasn't a short-term relationship. You guys wanted to buy a house together, but when he really needed you, you cared more about yourself and your friends. In doing that, you showed him exactly where he falls on your list of priorities, and it wasn't where he'd expected he'd land. So he made some decisions for himself. You added to his pain and hurt at a time where you should have been the person helping to prop him up. Oh, the relationship is done. He seemed fine because he shut down. She doesn't know her man at all. She doesn't seem to understand the issue at all. Even if she apologized and came to the funeral, she would essentially have made the decision under duress. So why would he want her there? OP, you can't be there for him and support him during the worst moment of his life. Why should he want to be with you at all? Your travel friends are idiots too for not talking some sense into you. My wife and I have been married for 3 years. About 6 months ago, I started noticing strange behavior in her. She started staying late at work, acting strangely, talking to me less, and thinking about something else during our conversations without noticing what I was saying. I don't know, maybe I'm just paranoid, but every time I've wanted to talk to her, she told me I was imagining things and making things up. I thought she was right, that I was just being too clingy, but yesterday she came home and she smelled like another man's perfume. I didn't even notice it at first, but then we started watching a movie together, and I put my arms around her and put my face on her shoulder and smelled it. I asked her if she had changed her perfume. She looked surprised and asked why I was asking. I said she smelled like another man's cologne, and she said, "Oh yeah, that. I bought a new perfume. It's not only for men, it can be either." Her answer looked suspicious, and I asked her to show me the perfume she bought, but she started yelling that I didn't trust her, and that I was already boring her with my jealousy, and that she wouldn't show me her new perfume because I was too clingy. Maybe she's right, and I'm putting too much pressure on her. One of the quickest things you learn about yourself and others in life is that most people don't immediately get defensive and start deflecting unless they feel guilty. If I had purchased a new cologne and my husband smelled it and asked to see it, no matter what tone he used to ask, I'd just show it to him because it's a simple request and I have nothing to hide. Chances are that she's been cheating or considering cheating, is picking up on the fact that you're noticing it, and is adamant about either not getting caught or not having to own up to whatever feelings she's been having regarding fidelity in your relationship lately. I'm not sure what you should do about it, but I do get the impression that you're having the gut feelings that you're having for a reason. If I was in his wife's position and I was actually telling the truth, I would shove the bottle of perfume in his face so fast and say, "There, you happy now?" That would be a massive win. Literally evidence that she's right. She didn't do that because she's lying and cheating. Sorry, OP. Yeah, the classic goes straight on the attack and accuse them of insecurity as soon as the suggestion is brought up is very typical. She is cheating, OP. This is like any other cookie-cutter behavior that happens when a spouse is being unfaithful and trying to hide it. You are not the idiot, and I hope you find the strength to deal with this.